Hey Heartland family, Pastor Ethan here with another Walk the Path video from Sunday's message. This week we're in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, talking about immorality among the church members and some church discipline and kind of how you handle people out in the world, things like that. It was pretty intense. We talked about a lot of things that are kind of, I think, culturally controversial. But as I'm thinking about this whole chapter, like what this whole chapter is about, right? Paul's talking about your boasting's not good. Don't you know a little leaven leavens the whole batch of dough? Clean out the old leaven so that you can be a new unleavened batch. And I wonder, oftentimes we lose a pursuit of holiness as we embrace grace. And sometimes we overcorrect, right? Where there is certainly tons and tons of grace for us, but there also should be a pursuit of holiness, of getting rid of the old leaven, getting rid of the old way of life, not only individually, but in the church. And I feel like as a church, how do we get rid of the old leaven? What does that look like for us? Let's look at our own lives and ask, what is the old leaven that I've still allowed to remain in my life? And maybe that I'm bringing into the church, and is it corrupting those around me, right? And it doesn't have just to do with sexual immorality, right? It's like Paul says, is it the greedy, swindler, right? There's so many things that can trip us up and that we don't realize can also trip other people up. And as a church, there's a thing that, I think it's in 1 Thessalonians, Paul says that he prays that we'll be holy and blameless, so that we'll be ready for the day of his return. And so how can we as a church pursue that holy and blamelessness as we go? And of course we're going to stumble, of course we're going to sin, but we should be in the pursuit of holiness out of our love for Christ and out of our love for what he's done for us. So I would challenge you, what are some ways that you and I this week can grow in holiness, can grow in getting rid of the old leaven? And sometimes we think we got rid of the old leaven, but there was a little bit left, right? And then it grows. So how can we go in and be like, no, I want to get rid of this completely and entirely? And for the sake of yourself, and also for the sake of the body of Christ. With that, we love you guys. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you this upcoming Sunday as we discuss 1 Corinthians chapter 6.